Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Radha, Nila Madhava Radha, Nila Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की, बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की, नित्य लीला प्रविष्ठा जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज प्रभुपाद की, अवधूत शिरोमणि गुरा किशोर बाबा जी की जय, सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तविंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, ब्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, निताय चैतन्य चंद्र की जय, श्री श्री निताय गोरा चंद्र की जय, श्री श्री राधा गिरिधारी की जय, श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। The most merciful, the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha Nilmadhav ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Nilmadhav Dham ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Bol Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Jaya जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय निताय चैतन्य चंद्र गौर हरि जय निताय गौरचंद्र निताय गौरचंद्र गौर हरि जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय थैंक यू प्रभु देवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंसा प्रविराज श्रेष्ठ शिष्य मध्वन ग्रेस भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Narochevam Narottamam Devo Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatam Jayo Dariyat Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, verse 17. Satya Shisho hi Bhagavam Stava Padapadam Bhagavam Stava Padamam Ashe Statanu Bhajata Purushartha Murte Api evam Arya Bhagavan Paripati Dinam Vashreva Vatskam Anugraha Katorosman. Satya Shishohi Bhagavam Stava Padapadam आशीततानु भजत पुरुषार्थमूर्ते अपि एव मार्या भगवन् परिपाति दीनन् मार्या भगवान् परिपादीनन् वश्रेव वत्साकमनुग्रह कतारुस्मन् सत्य शिशो हि भगवं तवा पदपदम् आशीततानु भजत पुरुषार्थमूर्ते अपि एव मार्या भगवन् परिपाति दीनन् वश्रेव वत्साकम् अनुग्रह कतारुस्मन् Please repeat. आशीततामूर्ते Part 1. Part 1. Part 1. Fourth and fifth. Thank you, Prabhu. Matajis. So let's do word-to-word translation. Satya, real. Asisaha is compared with other benediction. High. Certainly. Bhagavan, my Lord. Tava, your. Pada Padmam, lotus feet. Asiha, benediction. Tata, in that way. Anubhajata, for the devotees. Purushasa Artha, of the real goal of life. Murte, the personification. Api, although. Evam, thus. Arya, O Lord. Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead. Paripati, maintenance, Dinan, the poor, in heart, Vashra, cow, Aiva, like, Vatsakam, unto the calf, Anugraha, to bestow mercy, Kataraha, eager, Asman, upon me. So, the translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My Lord, O Supreme Lord, you are the supreme personified form of all benediction. Therefore, for one who abides in devotional service with no other desire, worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming king and lording it over a kingdom. That is the benediction of worshipping your lotus feet. To ignorant devotees like me, you are the causelessly merciful maintainer, just like a cow who takes the care of the newly born calf by supplying milk and giving it protection from the attack. Okay, so we'll read the purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Dhruva Maharaj was cognizant of the defective nature of his own devotional service. Pure devotional service is without material form and is not covered by mental speculation or fruitive activities. Pure devotional service is therefore called ahituki, unmotivated. Dhruva Maharaj knew that he had to come to worship in devotional service with a motive to get the kingdom of his father. Such an adulterated devotee can never see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He therefore felt very grateful for the causeless mercy of the Lord. The Lord is so merciful that not only he fulfills the desires of a devotee who is driven by ignorance and desires for material benefit, but he also gives such a devotee all protection, just as a cow gives milk to a newborn calf. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Lord gives intelligence to the constantly engaged devotee so that he may gradually approach to the Lord without difficulty. A devotee must be sincere in his devotional service. Then, although there may be many things wrong on the devotee's part, Krishna will guide him and gradually elevate him to the highest position of devotional service. The Lord is addressed herein by Dhruva Maharaj as Purusharthi Murti, the ultimate goal of life. Generally, Purushartha is taken to mean execution of a type of religious principle or worship of God in order to get material benediction. Prayers for material benedictions are intended to satisfy the senses, and one is frustrated and cannot fully satisfy the senses in spite of all endeavor. He desires liberation or freedom from material existence. These activities are generally called Purushartha, but actually the ultimate goal is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Panchama Purushartha, the ultimate goal of life. Lord Chaitanya therefore taught us not to ask from the Supreme Personality any benediction such as material wealth, popularity, or a good wife. One should simply pray to the Lord to be constantly engaged in his transcendental service. Dhruva Maharaj, being cognizant of his desire for material benefit, wanted protection from the Lord so that he may not be misled or deviated from the path of devotional service by material desires. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshuruli Militam Yene Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Rumapad Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would express my deepest gratitude to, of course, His Grace Shamsundar Prabhu and the leaders here for the opportunity for purification to just read what Srila Prabhupada says, what our Acharya says, and then share. And I feel much more comfortable to see all my advanced friends here and so senior Vaishnavas. So it's like a child is made to sit in front of the seat and asked to speak, and he feels very comfortable when he sees everybody around him senior, so they can correct him. So I feel very comfortable to see all elevated people around me. So that being said, I'll just share some thoughts. I don't have any realization, just to be very honest, as Maharaj, Ritudus Swami Maharaj mentioned last week. Realization means something we apply consistently in a sustainable manner. So these are some thoughts and some snippets of the realization which our Acharya share, and there is some attraction to this verses. So just we'll talk on that. So the background, I'm sure, of Dhruva Maharaj, a lot of us are aware in terms of how he wanted the love of his father, and how his father, just to keep him on the lap, rejected him. And immediately Dhruva Maharaj said, okay, I want a kingdom which is superior than Brahma, right? Not just his father's kingdom. So it shows that when we don't get connection or love, we try to go for material things. So Dhruva Maharaj, in this particular situation, how he asked his mother that, my father, behaved this way, and I want a kingdom which is greater than Brahma. And then his mother, Suniti, as our Acharya says, she's a pure devotee of Lord. She tells him to go to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada states in the purport there, in that particular verse, he says that Krishna is equivalent to millions of mothers. So that's the kindness which the Lord bestows on us in terms of the love of what we receive. Of course, when the mind and heart is blocked, for us, nothing seems much meaningful, depending on situation, like I'm talking of my particular condition. So of course, but with the association of all senior Vaishnavas, we repeat here again, and then the heart softens. So the theme of today's class is the principle and practice of gratitude. So this is a topic which I'm sure is very extensively spoken about in our movement, and we see how devotees live the life as an expression of gratitude. Today we see such a beautiful temple. Is definitely an expression of gratitude, and how the deities are being dressed so well every day with such beautiful paraphernalia, such beautiful flowers every single day. So that shows the deeper expression of love and gratitude by all the devotees. So that's an example. That's a very elevated state of gratitude where one dedicates his life for the service of the Lord, because he knows Lord is my protector, Lord is my maintainer, Lord is my well-wisher. So that's a very higher realization. So that's up there. So, and there are different steps to reach to that particular level of gratitude. So let's hear from our very dear Srila Prabhupada what he states here, that every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must be grateful for the benediction offered by the grace of Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada is very clear, he says must. So, and it's a very gratitude I hear from our acharyas and senior Vaishnavas is being just honest that, we are receiving so many things. Right from our childhood, we have wonderful parents. Then we grow up, we have teachers, friends, and now, of course, Vaishnavas guiding us, correcting us, giving us feedback. And we see how much we are receiving. And gratitude is tangible. So it's not something tangible in terms of the blessings and the well-wishing we see from all our acharyas and senior Vaishnavas and all devotees in every frame. And we see that when we acknowledge gratitude and count our blessings one by one, like this morning, we had such wonderful Mangalarti, and we see whenever we come to Mangalarti in the temple, and Shamsundar Prabhu ensures, he calls up devotees, he falls up because he is a true well-wisher of all the devotees. And we can see what an experience it is. We can come together, worship the Lord, chant the holy names, and with the association of devotee. And all of us, I'm sure, take a wonderful experience back home when we feel so connected and we feel grateful for having seen the deity. So here Srila Prabhupada says, and this is from Srila Prabhupada's purport, a devotee acquires all the good qualities of the demigods. His gunayam, the reservoir of all good qualities, his only asset is good behavior, and he is grateful. So this is with Prithu Maharaj's instructions. In the next, Srila Prabhupada writes, every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Anyone, therefore, with a very simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotional service to the Lord. Everyone should feel grateful. Again, Srila Prabhupada, this is in another purport, should feel grateful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is maintaining all living entities and supplying all their necessities. As stated in the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidanti Kamam. The Supreme One is supplying all necessities to the living entities. The living entity who is therefore grateful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly qualified with good characteristics. So Srila Prabhupada explains here so nicely, and the same concept is mentioned about how the Supreme Lord is maintaining and taking care of in 529. I believe once Shamsundar Prabhu during the New Year, he had that verse along with other words where the children were chanting, where it mentioned how the Lord is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram and Bhoktaram Yagnat Tapasyam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhurdam Bhutam. So the Lord is the Supreme, he's the owner of this whole world. At the same time, he's the benefactor and the well-wisher. And we have seen in our life, right from childhood, so many things have happened around us, and we see how the Lord is maintaining. Even what about devotees? Even people who are scientists, like Albert Einstein, we all understand, who was one of the greatest scientists, and he was such a honest man because he was observing everything around him. His final conclusion of all his research and was that Lord is the summary and everything else is detail. So this is Albert Einstein. He didn't read Bhagavad Gita, he didn't read Bhagavatam. So he saw that how a super intelligence, superpower, is manifesting in this whole. And Newton is another scientist. Now, as he did his research, he felt the power of the intelligence, the power of the God. He said, he made a theory of pebbles. He said, my knowledge of this, whatever I invented, is just like a theory of pebble compared to the knowledge of the Lord, or what the Lord is. So this is because these are all folks who are expressing honesty. And even in our lives, if we are very honest, we can see mercy and blessings manifested in so many different ways. Especially, we get such a wonderful temple to come every weekend. I remember I bring my office friends. A lot of you bring your office friends, I know. And once we got our whole leadership team, these are the big wigs in Shell, the VPs, they were going to the airport. I said, why don't we go here and have prasadam? And they came, and I was surprised. All of them not only appreciated, they said, what a beautiful temple. They looked at the deities, they said, wow. And even when I went to Netherlands on another meeting, they said, we still remember the prasadam we ate at Govinda's. We still remember those nice, beautiful standing, out there. So I was like, wow. So this is so they were so grateful. And these are folks who are, their pay grade is probably around close to $1 million. These are VPs in Shell. And for them, they visit different places every single day, but they make it at a point. The Lord connects with them for that one opportunity of having taken prasadam, taken darshan, that they remember. And even in India, I went for one visit, and another of our VP also mentioned the same. He said, I cannot forget that day. Whenever I come back to India, US again, I want to go to that same place for, dinner and lunch. I said, of course, it's the prasadam offered, prasadam of the Lord. So that's the, but we can see how they feel connected. So the fact that we get this opportunity to come here, worship the deities, and get to hear so much of instructions, and there is so much of guidance from devotees and so much of prasadam. Even whenever I go for my test to the doctors, my medical test, he said, wow, you seem to be eating a lot of sweets and all that. So he said, yeah. I said, in our temple they feed a lot of sweets. He said, so fortunate. Do you know, like not everybody gets to eat this kind. So he said, of course, it's good to eat a lot of prasadam, but if you can control a tongue, a little bit, that will also help for being long-term in the devotional service. So that was one part. But he was appreciative. He was so appreciative that, you get to, even he mentioned, he visits the temple, Dr. Krishna Sistala, he said, I see wonderful darshan and wonderful prasadam of the deities here. So, I'm just sharing different realizations of our acharyas. So, one of the things is gratitude is the seed of love of Godhead. So, one of the things we hear from our acharyas is the seed of devotion is implanted even in our heart by our acharyas, or by a spiritual master and the devotees who are guiding us. So as part of that, we are being instructed that the chanting and hearing is like the water and the sunlight. So that's the two part which tends to bring us or purify us in our devotion service, and then get connected with the lordships. Now our acharyas also mentioned that as part of, we do chanting and hearing, and there is no gratitude, because the holy name as we hear is non-different from the Lord. Now this is our Acharya's saying, and it's not something we can achieve. Right from our childhood we have been trained that we can achieve something, you can go for it, but holy name as Vaishnava state, our Acharya state, is something which we have to receive. We have to receive from the grace. So the ability to connect deeply with the Lord happens through gratefulness. And as Prabhupada mentioned earlier, it takes just a simple heart to be grateful. So, and being honest, as we talked about those scientists. So when there is gratitude, and we'll go more slides by different varied acharyas here, where it mentions it's like a fertility. We all have some plants in our backyard. So we see when we put fertilizer, they get stronger roots. So through chanting and hearing, when one applies the principle of gratitude and practices gratitude in terms of writing a journal, acknowledging every day, then one can see deep roots of slowly coming. One is able to connect. Because one of the fundamental... Shri Radha Nilamadav ki Jai. Yeah, so as we mentioned, gratitude is applied along with chanting and hearing, where we maintain a conscious attempt to be grateful, even while chanting, end of every round, being grateful. I remember one Mataji, Kirtida Mataji, I think she's one of the very advanced disciple of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And I remember from the devotees who were sharing about her glories that after every round she'll pay obeisances, and she'll have such gratefulness for the holy name and to all the acharyas sitting there. So we no wonder saw she got such mercy from His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and she went back to Godhead, and that's what the devotee shared, and we could see the symptom. So even Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioned many times, and our devotees, acharyas have quoted him, even today, recently, that in Krishna conscious, one has to be first conscious and then Krishna conscious. So the situation with conditioned soul is, it all, as we say, we are in a different, again, talking about myself, spaced out, the hearing goes from one year to out into another year. So that's the situation. So nothing really sticks on. So when we practice the principle of gratitude, so we see, when we acknowledge, today, what a wonderful darshan, what a wonderful opportunity to associate with devotees, nice prasadam. And how many, in Houston there are what, around 4 or 5 million people, how many of us get this opportunity to visit such beautiful temple, have such wonderful association, have a spiritual master who guides, and have such Vaishnavas, who are always there to guide us, give us feedback, and also correct us. So that's our opportunity. So here, some of the instruction His Holiness Romapa Swami Maharaj says, the beginning stage of bhakti comes from the association of those who are empowered to give Krishna. We should be very mindful of the good fortune that we all have received. When gratitude, no small thing, enters the heart, then bhakti can grow. It can grow up to the stage of prema. And when gratitude is absent, we are not going to get prema. It is not going to happen. Our practice will be mechanical at best. And we all know, the folks, I'm saying my personal experience, what is a mechanical practice? So, like I think Mataji last week shared a very nice verse by His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's purport, that the mechanical chanting, how chanting can be mechanical, we keep just like a parrot, just chant the Krishna's name without really connecting, the Lord is non-different from His form, but just keep chanting and being spaced out with work or material things and different thoughts. Yeah, but here, as Maharaj says, if we are grateful, and to be grateful, one has to be present. So one has to be present in the moment. So when we say, wow, the holy name and the Lord, such nice mercy, such nice blessings, one by one. And these are factual. These are not something we are talking in terms of theory. So we acknowledge one by one. Then we can see how it's easier to connect with the holy name and receive the holy name, and we are able to listen to the sound vibration of the Lord. And then as gratitude brings in more gratitude, that's what, again, our Acharya says, as we see that connection, then we become further grateful, because Krishna also says He gives the ability. So unless in the material world, how we say, I have the ability to achieve a certain goal. But in Krishna consciousness, we have seen, like whatever number of years we have been around, nothing happens, things don't really happen, or we're not able to connect deeper by our own effort. We can see how the mind is so powerful. Brijan Prabhu says in Japa book that the mind, or Maya, the mind through which Maya comes, Maya is as powerful as God. So the fact that who has the power to overcome the Maya and the power of the mind. So here, as Maharaj says, by his own experience and practice, and he also says how Krishna is our protector, maintainer, well-wisher, and provides the ability to do all service. Again, this is coming from Bhagavad Gita, so which clearly states that Krishna is our maintainer. All whatever we receive is because of the Lord. And then He's a protector, and we have seen so many times in our life we have been protected. I think I was listening to a class by one His Grace Vraja Bihari Prabhu. He talked out how in Mahaprabhu's Leela, where the Mahaprakash Leela, where He shares with so many devotees that you remember you were sick. No, it was me who was the doctor who came and saved you. You remember you went through this distress. It was me who came. So we can say those are pure devotees. But even in our life, we have seen with so many situations we are getting protected, but it's no other than the Lord who is coming in the forms of devotees, the Lord who is protecting every moment us in so many different ways. And also, there's one more quote which Maharaj just talks about how to overcome obstacles. So one of the things we all see in material world is about constant change, right? We see constant change. Either there's a virus, or there is a hurricane, or there's constant change. There is a health situation. Maharaj says 3 ways how to overcome, again based on scriptures. First is tolerant. And now tolerance by itself, we have seen, one can only be tolerant to a certain point, right? Tolerance by itself, it has to burst into a volcano eventually. Then Maharaj adds 2 more things. Being grateful for all the blessings and gifts we receive. So if we can, that's the point we'll run. If we maintain a gratitude journal, we'll see the book will keep growing. And one day when we see challenges, or we see any day challenges, we look at, wow, so many blessings, so many gifts. And this is not just our acharyas. I practice a bit of resilience. I'm a resilience coach, one of the coaches in Shell. So they also say, and the books are there is so much of gifts we receive. Your mind has a tendency, will always focus on 5% which is not working. All the 95% which is working, the mind will always not focus. So we have, that's part of the conditioning. So we try to make a conscious attempt when we cannot feel grateful naturally that, oh, today, see, the Lord is taking care of me. I had such wonderful prasadam. I just went in the morning, had nice darshan. Devotees dressed the deities so well, nice darshan, and we had such nice opportunity to hear to the instructions of our acharyas, and we feel so blissful and connected. The next is the one of my very favorite parts of hearing on gratitude is by His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. So he has many lectures on this aspect. So where Maharaj talks about how gratitude is honor, recognize, and appreciate everyone. So Maharaj says every moment is an opportunity to practically express our gratitude, and that is how we make spiritual progress. So, and Maharaj stands by this instruction. If one who has read his book, Journey Home, Maharaj repeatedly states in many of his classes, the person, the chowkidar or the security man in the Indian border, when Maharaj wanted to enter India to explore spiritually, and he was saying, no, you don't have a visa, you don't have money, just go away. And he cries, Maharaj cries and cries. And then finally, the security officer puts his hand and says, my son, all your desires come true. So Maharaj states that I cannot forget. It's not just acharyas are important, Vaishnavas are very important, they are the primary source in the Lordship, but every person in our life who blesses us, we get that mercy from them. So they are also, the Lord comes in on the form of our parents, form of our well-wishers, even in our managers in office. We may say they are materialist, but however, when the Lord is there in their heart, His Holiness Ritudus Maharaj last week, he said, you can see Lord everywhere. Don't tell me that because you go to work, you don't see Lord, you only see temple, the Lord. He says, Lord is manifested in every way. He said, don't you read Bhagavad Gita? The Lord is manifested in everyone's heart, in every living being's heart. He says, you can drink a glass of water in the work and say, Krishna, thank you for this water. That's, you remembered Krishna. He said, there's so many different ways. And he says, every day pick up something where you can remember Krishna. Now again, this is how the devotees, acharyas, can able to connect us with the Lord on an every day-to-day basis. So here, let's read some of the very nice quotes by His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. One quality that makes the mercy of Guru and Krishna accessible, and that is gratitude. And Maharaj says this is a very important quality. And Maharaj, even in his recent Vrindavan Yatra, the first day when devotees went for, he said, can you please ensure that when you go to all these places, just try to be grateful of what you're receiving. It's not just going and seeing and talking a katha and just walking out. But just be grateful. And Maharaj puts the specific emphasis. And I think one or few of his Vyasa Puja is just focused on being grateful. Maharaj gives so many examples of how one should be grateful for every small thing we receive. And Maharaj also talks, saying that gratitude is a divine virtue. It leads to developing all other saintly qualities. And this was a very nice class Maharaj gave, where he said, no other virtues can exist without gratitude. He says, even humility is just a theory. Like many times we talk about humility. He says, without being grateful of acknowledging the blessings we receive wholeheartedly, the whole humility is just a theoretical process. And that makes sense, even if we just think, how, does it humility really, what is humility? Everything belongs to the Lord, He only gives. But if I'm not grateful what we are receiving every single day, then where is the question of humility? Then there's just an external expression. And then Maharaj also says, gratitude is to honor, recognize, and appreciate everyone and everything for a higher purpose. And he lives by that. I saw once he came to the journey home, he even thanked the chowkidar who was standing in out of that room. Like Maharaj came out of that class, and we have hundreds of people. Maharaj, when we came, the security guard, night, it was 10 o'clock, he was shaking hands with him, thank you very much. He was appreciating him also. So he was in appreciative mode. So what he's preaching is demonstrated in his quality. And love without gratitude does not give pleasure. So this is a very deep statement. He talks about what is love. Love basically is sacrificing or connecting. I would say there's a different definition. Is connecting with the Lord, with our family members, with all the people we meet. But when does the connection happen? The connection happens only when we accept and we appreciate. So that itself, the definition of connection is acceptance plus appreciation. which means one has to be grateful and acknowledge, and then one can see the Lord. So many times we say, oh, I don't see any reciprocation in this relationship, because when in a relationship, when we see what we receive, our attention is to what we receive, then we can see that, there is, we can really feel the heart is, the heart is abundant. Because one of the reasons is we have the scarcity mindset, because when the heart is vacuum, that happens when there is no gratefulness. Then what happens is every time we are looking for something, life is all about expectation. As we say, expectation is the seed of misery. So when the heart is vacuum, there is expectation from every single person we meet. So, and then what happens is misery. But however, when we're grateful, it's like, just a comparison, it's like having a bank balance, secure bank balance. Of course, nowadays, even bank balance will not stay for long. But here, you have a secure, you feel your heart full of abundance, and you feel so pleasurable and blissful that I'm always protected. I've got so much blessings, and I have received so much of gifts all my life. The one aspect which is very easy to relate, and in gratitude, which our Acharyas mentions, and our senior Vaishnava, is like when we have children, so a lot of us are parents here, we always tell the child that, are you not feeling grateful? You get so many things. You see a child gets the first toy, he plays with it, he'll put it back. After 2 weeks, he needs something else. If he doesn't get a toy, then he just acts out. And I remember telling my son, are you not grateful? He looked at me, are you grateful for what you're receiving? I was like, for a moment, I felt, wow, my son is a bit more straight. So he said, are you grateful for what you're receiving? But then he said, I thought over, yes, correct. It's very easy to make a statement of somebody others, but when the mirror turns to your own self, then you can say, oh yeah, sure, this is something I need to work on. It's one is to give an instruction, but the one is to apply that one own self. And this is, same thing happens. What a child tries to keep accumulating and then asking for the next thing and forgets whatever, all the toys, all the gifts he got. Similar, when we grow up, the same behavior continues. We get everything, we get bigger toys, and we get, things which we feel which will keep secure. But then what happens is we are not grateful for what we receive, and these are tangible gifts, and then we keep acting out. So one of the things where we tend to act out is when, as we mentioned, as when we are not grateful. So Maharaj further mentions, of all disgraceful behavior, there is nothing worse than ingratitude. So this, the way Maharaj punches this the statement in the class, and he says, Lord Ram says, the number one sinful activity is being ungrateful. This is Lord Ram, Lord Krishna himself. And one way you could see, wow, one devotee was sharing, senior Vaishnava was sharing that means 4 regulatory principles are next to, after the not being ungrateful. He was just joking. Yes, 4 regulatory principles are extremely important, but he says the most disgraceful, this is coming from Lord Ram, and Maharaj is repeating that. And then also Maharaj says, gratitude doesn't mean simply saying thank you, but that's a starting point, right? We all need a starting point. We start chanting rounds, in a regulatory manner, and then of course there will be a day and time when, by the mercy of Vaishnavas, by the mercy of Guru, we can connect deeply. So here Maharaj also mentioned real gratitude. So this is real gratitude, means reciprocation. We are actually grateful to someone. We will, if we are grateful, actually grateful to someone, we will reciprocate even if it means great sacrifice. So which shows an example, and we can see right in our temple, again, I don't want to flatter His Grace Shamsundar Prabhu, his life is an expression of gratitude. And as a grahasta, it makes sense to talk about him and so many other devotees, where he has actually, just to reciprocate his Guru Maharaj, he has given, even it means a great sacrifice. He had a big business he was sharing with us. He gave it up, and then he dedicated his whole life. And we can see how honestly he's doing his service. And you can see how he's connected. So it's not easy. We can observe, right? Something which is done externally and something which is done pretentious is very clear. But in his case, he's such an exemplary example, as a grahastha especially. Of course, we can go on talking about our acharyas, that's one, but here is a grahastha locally living who had a more opportunity to accumulate millions and millions of dollars, but no, he met his Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and dedicated his whole life how to take care of the temple, and with so much of austerity, so much of challenges. So that's a very good example for us to follow. especially Grahastha. And Prabhu is always there to give us feedback and correction. Even if we don't ask for it, Prabhu is there. That is his mercy and blessings. Then the last one is the 3 R's of gratitude. While we have real gratitude, we also want to see what is the step up, right? We always need a ladder out there. So first is, of course, recognizing and saying thank you. So to be recognized, we probably have to be present, right? So to recognize. Many times what happens in conditioned life is move just from one activity to another. Just keep on going without pausing and slowing down. So just keep moving from one activity to other activity. So when we pause and recognize and thanks, what a wonderful darshan today, what a wonderful way to dress deities, and see how these devotees are constantly, as I think devotees are sharing, they're making flowers for the garlands for the Lord with so much of love and so much of consistency. So that shows the level of their gratitude. And we recognize and say thanks, and remember, and also mean. So that's the second step is memories. When we go back to memories of all what we received right from our childhood, our parents, our teachers, and all the Vaishnavas who are helping us, one by one we note down. We'll be surprised. The book will get loaded. You can write books after books, books after books. You'll just be wow. So this is all how the mind is so vicious that all the gifts we get is all behind. But then always I'm, looking at, that person told me this way, he didn't meet this expectation, all. That's where the mind keeps going. And finally, it said, reciprocate and live a thank you. So that's the real gratitude. That's what we see from all our senior Vaishnavas and Acharyas, whose life is an example of gratitude. So Shri Radha Nilamadav ki Jai. Thank you. Yeah. So that's, we are talking of the real gratitude, is it should reciprocate and live a thank you. So that comes in the stage 3 when we practice. The first 2 ones is, one is recognize, right? That is words, which is starting point, because, and we talk from the heart. Thanks is not just a lip. In US at least it's very common, right? We walk, every 2 steps we say thank you to somebody else. That's common. But here it's, of course, start with the words and they try to go heart deep. And the second is feelings. It's very important to remember. So many nice things have happened in life. So even if we see challenging things happening in life, the process of gratitude will extract positive things from that. So that's what is gratefulness. So we have always seen, we have gone through some challenges, but then Krishna had something very big for us. So sometimes some people have lost their kids, some people have lost their relatives, but then when they see in the big picture and being grateful for the Lord, they'll see that has brought them much closer to the Lord. That has given them much deeper connection to the Lord. So one of the things we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees are put through such austerities, but then the devotees also pray for the austerity because it gives them the shelter of the Lord. So they are always connecting in a deeper way. And we also know if something happens, the first thing we run to the Lord, right? So if challenges comes. So here the challenges are better for our learning as well as praying to the Lord for more shelter. So that's how the process of devotional service is. Now, magic of gratitude is His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj. Of course, Sachinanda Maharaj is very well known for his kirtan. So Maharaj has some very good instruction, magic of gratitude. Devotees of Krishna meditate about the things they can be grateful for. So they constantly meditate the things they can be grateful for. They avoid thinking about all those things they do not have, nor all those arrangements that have not been worked out. So, which means the attention is to what I'm receiving and not to what I don't have. Instead, they focus on what has been given to them, as Maharaj continues. All the opportunities that arrive each day upon their doorsteps, all the relationships that have encouraged them, and last but not least, the human form of life which offers them a unique opportunity for self-realization. Thus, they cover themselves each morning in the warming mantle of gratitude and feel empowered. So here, Maharaj again talks about the principle where he's well explained that we always meditate on the things what we have, and that's and it's a practice even practice implemented by a lot of the senior psychiatrists and psychologists, because gratitude is a principle, spiritual principle. They see in the most traumatic condition, they use gratitude. When everything else fails, they say, they'll charge them $1,000 an hour, but say, can you sit and write a gratitude journal? They ask, nothing happened, your parents, you were born. Who gave you birth? You had a parents, right? They took care of you. You're here. Oh, yeah, I remember. Then one by one, and then they see that is one of the way to cure even the most traumatic persons. So gratitude for us, especially so explicit, we can see, if you're just present for a moment, we can see how our life is full of gifts and blessings. So here Maharaj says early morning. So this is a practice. Lot of the devotees to our acharyas spend 5-6 minutes in the morning, write a small gratitude journal, just and be specifics, right? So one of the things we all want to see is tangible gifts in our life. And by writing that, yesterday I read this verse. It was so nice. I really felt connected, because one of the instructions we get is the strength to implement the instruction of the Lord or the Guru is within the instruction. So we just keep meditating on the instruction, and when we are grateful, you see those things come deeper, and it's easy to meditate on them. So we meditate, and writing a journal is the best. They say when you write, I'm sure we all gone through college, it's much better to remember, right? And writing has a much bigger space where we can be grateful. At the same time, if we are seeing challenges, we write it down, and it's proven by all the famous psychologists that when you write, everything from your mind dumps out. Means anything, all the clutter, and in our Acharya says, Prabhupada says is one of the classes, please write, please write, please write. So all of us, regardless of our situation, we write, we acknowledge. Of course, the theme should be around gratitude. The theme should be around how the Lord is taking care of us, because journal writers, there are also, like Hitler was a journal writer. He maintained a journal, but what drove him was his mind and intelligence. So journalism has to be around the context of what we receive from the Lord, what we are reading. So it's not something out of context. So that's an important aspect. And Maharaj, I really like the statement, finally says, they cover themselves each morning, devotees, in the warming mantle of gratitude and feel empowered. And it's a simple exercise. I think any one of us, we spend even few days or 3-4 days, you see how the whole day goes. My own manager, she's a global delivery lead. She's got like, 200-300 people. She was sharing with me a few weeks ago, and I feel so exhausted. Right from the morning I get up, I have to think about so many vendors, so many, project deadlines. I said, can we write a small thing together? And she said, immediately next day, she's a smart lady, very intelligent. She said, wow, I wrote and I sent some emails to my parents, and, and she said, what a transformation. She said, and this is something not me sharing and her doing. This is something just reminding. This gratitude and gratefulness is something, a very natural quality of human being. And she said, it just changed her life, and she's now propagating within her team, and she has a much bigger influence. So she's saying that I'm sharing with all my friends and relatives, which is helping. So it's a very simple process, as Prabhupada says. Then expressing our gratitude has two benefits. You become more conscious of what you have. Again, you're counting our blessings and gifts. You connect with the person, human or divine, you feel grateful. So this is, again, we go back to the same point. One is conscious of what we have. So we want to feel abundant. We want to really write all the blessings I get, and the book keeps growing, the journal. Wow, then you see, wow, this is all the blessings I've got. And then also connect. So when we chant the holy name, and this is again recommended by Vaishnavas, that when we say thank you at the end of each round, or even sometimes if our mind is spaced out after every mantra for a few minutes, you can just see how the mind settles, and the holy name vibration, we can listen to it without the mind getting distracted. So that's the part. And the Lord is also pleased. In Mahaprabhu's pastime, there is one small pastime where, I think in Srivas Sangan, when Mahaprabhu was doing his kirtan, there was one brahmachari or brahmana who came, and he was hiding. Srivas Thakur brought him and hid him. Then Mahaprabhu said, suddenly he stopped. He's omnipresent. He said, what's happening? I'm not feeling any ecstasy, anything. Somebody here is. Then Srivas says, Maharaj, Mahaprabhu, this is, he's a Brahmana, he's well qualified, he has passed Bhakti Shastri, like all, he's well read, he knows all the philosophy, he can read, talk about it, he's austere, he just says, he just drinks milk once a time, So Mahaprabhu said, I don't want any milk. Maharaj states that, I don't want any milk drinking person here, austere. Ask him to get out right away. And Maharaj and Mahaprabhu states that, I'll destroy the universe if he doesn't leave, So that Brahmana was such a wonderful devotee that immediately he felt gratitude just to witness some part of Mahaprabhu's Leela, the whole Sankirtan. And he had gratitude in his heart, and Mahaprabhu, of course, being omnipresent, immediately realized that, see, he is grateful. So immediately Mahaprabhu said, bring him back. So the quality of gratitude attracts the attention of the Lord immediately. And this is again stated by Acharyas. And then finally Maharaj says, Maharaj, this is Sachinanda Swami, suggests you to compile a mental list every day with items you can be grateful to give an example of different whatever we receive. And mental list is fine, but I think, at least for me, to write down is much easier, because when you're writing, you have to be focused. When it is coming to mind, it is like, it's like constantly different thoughts keep coming. So mind is, of course, it works, each one, whatever works, that's fine. But then to keep a mental list and write, that's much better. Then we have Gratitude for God's Gift by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. One fantastic article which came in dandavat.com. Hopefully I'm time, I'll be done in a few minutes. If you are all aware of how dependent we are on God for the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, and our ability to eat and drink and breathe, to think and feel and will and to walk, talk and sense, we will feel grateful and want to reciprocate to God's kindness. So this is so amazing. This is part of is common sense, the beautiful nature, the air we breathe, the water we drink. Like right now we understand how important the water is when we had this water burst. Without water we cannot survive. And the food we eat, and our ability to eat and drink and breathe, to think and feel and will and walk. Nothing can happen without the mercy of the Lord, Maharaj is saying. So he says, if we acknowledge even those simple things, then we'll feel grateful and want to reciprocate to the God's kindness. We will want to do something for he or she or they whoever has done to us, and continue to do so much for us. We develop taste by serving devotees. So this is a very nice logical way of explaining how through gratitude one can serve devotees from the heart. We often take things for granted until we lose them. I use my right hand to chant on meditation beats, and one morning, this is Maharaj saying, I found that I had a severe arthritic pain in my hand and could no longer use it for chanting. I had taken the use of my hand for granted. But when I lost its use, I resolved never to take it granted again, and to always use it in the best way in God's service. So this is a very, very high consciousness, as we understand His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, very, very elevated, pure Vaishnava. So he talks about how, and this shows also being present, being conscious. This goes back to what Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, right? Being conscious of every little thing happening. Then it's easier to practice gratefulness. And then we're talking of some gratitude practices and benefits. This is again recommended by a lot of senior Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, all our acharyas, daily gratitude journal, highlighting the unlimited gifts and blessing. Be specific with facts. Just writing, I received mercy of the Lord, that's good. But being more specific in terms of mercy, what did I receive today? Today I got wonderful darshan, and I had nice association. I had some instruction. I read few instruction of acharyas. So that was quite. So that is being specific with facts. Then second is gratitude allows to celebrate the present, magnifies positive emotion. They always say happiness is in the present. So when we are grateful, so suddenly the mind releases. We see the release of the mind, and we can be present, and we can feel that connection, that love, and the love which we're all seeking for. Because as our Acharya says, it's the pleasure of the love which all of our heart is yearning for. It is not just sensual reactions or sensual connection, but it's actually the pleasure of having connection or feeling the love of the Lord. That's what we are all looking for. And it magnification of positive emotions. And simple practices of gratitude will show that there's a nice saying, Gaura Gopal Prabhu says, gratitude is the attitude, which is the fortitude like a fort, which is a fortitude which focuses on goodness, all good things, because you keep counting your blessings and gifts, and then deals with challenges. Because material world is anyway, there is challenges, but then when we see 90% of our life is all positive things, and we just acknowledge it every day, then it's easier to deal with challenges. So we are in a nice, we are present, we don't react when we face challenges, we are able to respond. That's something we have been taught. Gratitude makes us appreciate the value of something, and we appreciate the value of something, we extract more benefits from it. We are less likely to take it for granted. So as simple as like when we say holy name, when we appreciate the value of it for holy name, otherwise it's just as Mataji shared last week, it's just just like a parrot out there. So when we are grateful, we can see we are able to hear the sound vibration, and by connecting to the sound vibration, we have seen whenever we are connected with the sound vibration, it's a much different experience than just having a number count of 16 rounds out there. So and the more we extract benefits from it, we are less likely to take it for granted. And most important, gratitude blocks toxic negative emotions such as envy, resentment, regret, emotions that can destroy our happiness. So this is something we see even when we have so much of association, so much of instruction, the fact that since we are conditioned, the mind goes again on things which didn't work. So an attempt to acknowledge all the good things, all the blessings, gifts, will ensure that the mind is not stuck on a negative emotion. It says, oh wow, today I received everything, so many benefits. Morning I could get up. Krishna gave me the ability to get up early in the morning, come here safely without meeting an accident. And these are simple things, and this is how devotees writing. I'm not talking of myself. This is all being shared by devotees, and we just repeat we follow their footsteps, and we write every single thing out, whatever factual this morning happened. And that way, if I have a negative emotion, that manager last week was so strong at me, it will not be clogged in my mind. He didn't acknowledge I did some work, but he was so strong. So our mind shifts and the Lord helps to shift on the positive things rather than just, a negative toxic emotion. Then it says, grateful people are stress resistant and be always joyful, happy, and accomplish more in life. And this is a very profound statement. We see all our senior Vaishnavas, Acharyas, they have so much of task to do. We talk about our job, our project manager, having one son to deal with, and then we call it. But imagine devotees, we see our Acharyas, like even Shyamsundar Prabhu has to manage huge temple, huge projects, and we know what it takes to do manage a small house with few $1,000s expense, or we lose our sleep on that. But to run a temple with average expenses of $50,000-$60,000 with Govindas, with apartment complex, with so many, and also dealing with so much of varied personalities. So and since being grateful, they are stress resistant, and we can see our acharyas, they have thousands of disciples, right? And once one Maharaj was sharing that 70% of his time goes on just resolving problems, you say. So with that kind of situation, we see they're so blissful, they're so stress resistant. So that gives an example. Their attention is what I'm receiving from Krishna, what is the blessing. So they're able to deal with challenges of the 70% of the time without getting drowned into it. So that's one example. And once Maharaj, His Holiness Romapa Swami Maharaj, was asked in a class in Boston when Srila Prabhupada appeared, they had a celebration every year. So one of his god sister asked him, Maharaj, just to ask you, what is the secret of your life? You're so consistent last so many years. He said two things, gratitude and Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says gratefulness every day of what I received from Srila Prabhupada, and that we can see he's always connected, and all the acharyas, all his god brothers, senior, how they're connected, and this is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also one way, if you see, the devotees expressing their gratitude. They're all the devotees are so grateful because Krishna is so kind. We see in so many pastimes, Vritrasura, and the last moment Krishna gives him the revelation from the heart. Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord never forgets what the devotees have done. So he gets remembrance. Ajamil. He's going through the worst thing one could ever think, but the Lord gives him remembrance, and he expresses gratitude. And then we have so many stories out there. The list is never ending in Bhagavatam. So that's one. And then law of attraction. And this is a very proven thing. Please try it. People who are grateful always receive abundance of things that you are grateful for. So the more you are grateful, you receive the same thing and more. The more you thank devotees, you thank what you receive, they say automatically you get receiving. So that's the law of attraction. If one is negative, then he sees every time, he feels in everything in his life is only negative out there. But if one does this law of attraction, one is always grateful, you just see, wow, only good things. Because the perception changes. It does not mean that physically the world changes. Like that pastime of that devotee who who finally, what's his name in Bhagavatam, Prabhu, where he goes through that, what you call challenges. He was a very, he was a very selfish Brahmana, and finally he gets what you call the realization. They beat him up and all that. Is Avanti Brahmana. Yeah, Avanti Brahmana. So in case of Avanti Brahmana, finally when he gets the revelation, this mind is the creation for everything by the mercy of the Lord, then all the austerities which he faces, I was surprised when I heard to the class where Maharaj stays and Bhagavatam is written, after he became realized, his situation was, they used to beat him up. Wherever they'll see him, they'll chain him. Even when we try to eat some food, they go and pee on that food. But then he was blissful. So that means once he was connected to the Lord, even the most austerities was not causing him pain. Now we can say he's pure devotee of the Lord, but even for people who are practicing, they'll see the challenges don't anymore bite us. Challenges are there. We have to deal with reality. We can't be in denial. We have to deal with reality. But when gratitude is actual reality, where our mind is focused on what we are receiving, and it's a very nice way to heal. There's a very big, what you call, very good, on Netflix, one of my officers told me, heal. So this whole article on healing, and it shows in Vrindavan, they show Vrindavan picture as part of that article, how meditation and connection with the Lord heals. And this is all about people who have traumas, people who have big diseases, who connect deeper, how that helps them to overcome that, So that's one. So the final is, grateful people have a higher sense of self-worth, and that we can see. Devotees who are very simple, who have a simple financial situation and a simple house, feel they feel a high sense of self-worth by being grateful. You have a sense that someone else is caring for you, provided for your well-being, and you notice that the network of relation, past and present, of people who are responsible for helping you to get there to where you are right now. So again, it focuses on what we receive from all different relationships we talked about, and it keeps us connected. So one of the very important, I would like to end here, as Srila Prabhupada states, every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of Supreme Lord. Anyone, therefore, with a simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotion service to the Lord. So, that being said, the statement is so deep. We are really very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada exemplified that example where any time he was glorified, he said, this is by the mercy of my spiritual master. For him, it was so natural to pass to be just being an instrument. He didn't have to make an attempt. And you could see he was so blissful all his life. In fact, I was told his most challenging time in his early days was in New York when he came the first year. First 1 year, nothing happened, and he was in Bowery. They said you have to go to Bowery to see what it is. One of devotees stays there. She says, now it's also bad. During those days, he said, you cannot stay there. It was only smell of poop and people drunken and all that. But Prabhupada was so connected, and senior devotees who know Prabhupada, they asked him. Prabhupada said it was ecstasy for him, because he was so connected with the spiritual master and the acharyas that for him, that externals were inconvenient, but it was not bringing him down. For him, it was just, I'm just serving my spiritual master. If the Lord wants to spread the moment, that's fine, or I'm ready to go back. So that was the mode of Srila Prabhupada. So thank you very much for hearing, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So any comments, feedbacks, corrections, addition? Do we have the mic or? Yeah, there you go. Gopal Prabhu, please correct me. Thanks.
I have a comment and a question. So when I listened to the verse, I remembered a verse from Bhagavad Gita, the equivalence. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. So Krishna gives the mercy, and also he gives the protection, yoga and kshema. But the key word in that verse is exclusive devotion. So if one is engaged in devotion exclusively, then the yoga and kshema is guaranteed. I'm not sure if it's available for corporate warriors like us. Right. Anyway, that's the comment. Now the question is, if we read the translation, Dhruva Maharaj says that worshipping your lotus feet, it is better than becoming a king and lording over a kingdom. But we know from Bhagavatam that after he had his darshan, he didn't continue in the forest.
Correct.
He became a king and lorded over a kingdom. So can you explain why he did that?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. This is my view, Prabhu. I cannot answer. I don't have the capacity to answer your question, but devotees can add. Whatever I've heard is the one very good thing you talked about is, lording over the kingdom after he became realized, correct? That was your question. I would take it a little bit, few steps before answering. In this particular purport, Dhruva Maharaj states that the Lord's devotional service is much, much pleasing than the kingdom of the Lord. And when Dhruva Maharaj went to meet, when he met Narada Muni, he was authentic. And I'm just talking few steps before I answer your question. And devotees, Shyam Prabhu can answer more. He was very authentic. One of the things in spiritual life, and this is I'm hearing from senior Vaishnavas, being authentic and honest and accepting. Authentic and honest doesn't mean like, okay, I have a certain condition, so currently I'm not able to dedicate, doesn't mean I keep beating myself up, being lament. I wrote to once Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, and Maharaj said, please don't lament, just follow the process. So lamentation and hankering is not being recommended. But the fact that he was very authentic, he clearly states in the verses earlier that, my dear Lord Narada Muni, your instructions are so valuable, but I'm not in a situation right now to receive them. He's authentic. And Narada Muni really likes his honesty. And he says, okay, he's so determined. He gives him so many different ways, you're a child, just go back home, what you will do here in the forest. But Narada Muni notices his determination. So with that determination, Narada Muni says, okay, you want to earn a kingdom which is bigger than Lord Brahma. So take here, this is the holy name, chant the holy name. And his whole intention was to acquire a kingdom. And as we know, the pure devotee is so powerful, he will engage us even if he sees material, we have material desires, he'll engage us. And then through that process, Krishna will fulfill our desire in a way, we'll never ask for it again. This is told by Maharaj, not me, this is our acharyas. He will do it in a way, and when Dhruva Maharaj sees finally the Lord and he puts the conch in his head, he says, this whole kingdom I prayed for is like broken piece of glasses. This doesn't make any sense. The satisfaction and the connection with you is what means. And then the Lord ensures that since he asked for that kingdom, he said, you keep the kingdom, at the same time you rule it, and do practice your devotional service. So like even Srila Prabhupada, if you see one way, had a very good moment. Of course, this was intended to preach and spread the holy name, but it didn't impact his consciousness in any way. So I probably answered part of it, but then our acharyas say, the Lord clearly insisted that, you maintain this is our instruction because you asked for it. You should know what you asked for, be for thousands of years, and then practice your devotional service. Probably I didn't answer your question, Prabhu, if that is. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody wants to add to that comment? We have much more senior Vaishnavas here than you. Mataji, some comment or? Yeah.
I just want to appreciate the presentation. Hare Krishna. First, I would like to seek permission from Shyam Sundar Prabhu to express my emotion. May I? I just wanted to, express my gratitude for two things. First, yes, all what you said about Shyam Sundar Prabhu was very, very honestly inspiring. Ever since I've seen and met him, that's what I personally feel. It makes me emotional to add and appreciate the point of writing you emphasized. And I really want everybody to take it very specifically, that writing is the strongest emotion. Mm-hmm. If you're honest in yourself, you can see it through. If you're honest in yourself, you can judge yourself how much you can bring on your paper. And second, two things I wanted to appreciate in your presentation was that Rome wasn't built in a day. As you said, we need to be grateful for every soul who connected us to another. Our parents, our teachers, and Prabhupada, who saved all of their efforts. We would have been lost. Prabhupada saved the efforts of our parents and our teachers. And secondly, I wanted to appreciate when you said that 4 of the other qualities and devotional principles become insignificant if you don't have the quality of gratitude. And I mean, Krishna is so kind, he knows what's coming up. I've been writing for past 25 years. And I'm a very sensitive writer. I cannot write if you ask me to write right now. I only write when it comes deep there. And I take this moment because I never knew it's going to be coming up with something on gratitude. But 4 days back, I was sitting and counting on what all Prabhupada gave us. Like I said, we need to be grateful to our teachers, parents, and we feel grateful for people at that moment. When you're a child, you're grateful to parents. When you are a student, you feel grateful to teacher. But as we move further, our gratitude and expression changes because we are grateful for the moment. So I was thinking 2 days back and sitting that right at this moment, whom am I grateful for? At this moment. And I was only having one word in my mind, and that was Prabhupada. And then I will take a minute to express and share the emotions and of gratitude I got for Prabhupada, and I wrote something, as you emphasized the quality of writing. So I wrote, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. Prabhupada got us from darkness to light. Prabhupada made our days bright. Prabhupada taught us to sing and chant. Prabhupada made us believe things we can't. Prabhupada wrote books for us to read. Of bhakti, Prabhupada gave us the seed. Prabhupada knew what our soul needs. Prabhupada taught us the importance of japa beads. Prabhupada made our vision clear. Prabhupada told us what should be here. Words like Krishna and Rama were not new. Prabhupada taught us how to love you. Prabhupada in one lifetime connected us all to our soulmate. Prabhupada taught us how to get liberate. Bless us, Prabhupada, to make you proud. You saved us all from being lost in this worldly crowd.
Wow, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Wow. Something to learn from Mataji. Fantastic. This is straight from the heart. Yeah?
Yes, that's why I just said that this is not the moment. I haven't had a devotion of Shamsi Prabhu.
Wow. Thank you.
I wanted to share because it related so much to the moment that if you're honest to yourself, writing really brings everything inside out.
And this is a very advanced stage what you are showing. Like for me, it's a copy paste from I used to know from the but yeah, very nice.
Honestly speaking, I told you, I've been writing for 25
Fantastic.
but I can never write if I don't feel it.
Fantastic.
Tell me right now, everyone.
So thank you.
And I could feel, connecting to gratitude, I was feeling that how my veins are getting full with gratitude for Prabhupada. That how is he taking over parents? How is he taking over teachers? How is he taking over family? That at this moment, if I feel somebody grateful to, that's Prabhupada.
Fantastic.
So that's how it got into me, that everything we have heard, we have grown with this, but he changed the entire view of our activities. He gave us so much. So yes, gratitude is very important.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful. Anybody else? Yeah, Sundar Gopal.
Very wonderful topic to meditate on. Certainly I can learn a lot. I think I heard from you, about, gratitude journal. I think one of the examples that you mentioned, one Mataji, she was writing that journal for many years and expressing her gratitude and some prayers. So after 4 or 5 years, when she was looking back at the journal, said whatever she prayed, that came true. So it was amazing that how Lord reciprocates, when that gratitude is expressed genuinely. It's very wonderful. And it's like most of the time, as you said, like expectations, we are in that kind of a mode. And but when genuinely something is expressed, automatically it pleases the person.
Absolutely.
And the Lord is in the heart. Obviously, he will be very happy that, that effort is, rather than asking and demanding, and when we thank, it's genuine, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you
for
Prabhu.
bringing
Thank you
this
very
wonderful
much.
topic.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Anybody else? Prabhu wants to. Your volume is probably.
I was reflecting on how a pure devotee will appreciate anyone for the smallest amount of service that they give to Krishna. And the way that Krishna, in his pastimes killing demons, from his perspective, they're coming to play with him. And so, like these really